our next speaker is also going to talk about her personal journey as an early crypto artist. She's been a crypto artist since 2019. So let's welcome Lapin.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. So we're coming very, closer to the end of the event, and here I am talking to you about my crypto art journey. And you know what? This crypto art journey started almost exactly 40 years ago, because it's my birthday. So basically 40 days ago, I got born, and I always had a creative soul. I was creating, crafting with everything around me, and it was really in my soul. And when I had the choice, basically, to go to study, I was offered to go in art school or in business school, in business field. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm not sure I would be able to live from art, so let's go the safe way. So I had a quite relatively successful career, but at one point in 2019, I felt a little bit empty. Something was boiling. All this creativity, needed to come out. So in 2019, I decided to send a text to a long-term friend you may know, Fanila Kubey, that we know each other for almost 20 years. And I say, you remember when you were doing some art classes? I would like to do the same. So do you have any recommendation? And in 2019, she said, forget the classes, forget everything about what you know about art. I will send you a link, and have a look, have fun, and see what it is. And she sent me a link to the Additional app. In 2019, it looked like basically an Instagram app, basically. And you were able to share your art for free, mint your art for free on the Ethereum. And you were able to share it and to share it with other artists. We were measuring success, basically, on how quick our art were going, because we're not selling. And it was just brilliant, basically. So this is where I started with my little watercolor and say, here I am, Lapin Mignon, with my watercolor. And I was surrounded with a lot of people doing some amazing digital art. I'm like, oh, I love what you're doing. How you do it? And say, oh, I'm using Photoshop. Okay, never used Photoshop. And this is where I started. Oh, yeah, this is how it works. Oh, I use Polar. Oh, you use Polar. Oh, and I use Procreate. And I started to say, okay, I can start from watercolor, but probably as well, I can start as well to enhance the digitalization of it. And this is where I started. And during 6 months, we were all collecting each other. And a lot of artists started here, like Abysm, Mighty Mouse. We've got as well Art Gnome as well, who were on Additional as well. So a lot of artists that are quite known in that space as well are basically here. So, and you know what? A lot of crypto artists, when they arrive in that space, they want to sell. You come and then had a lot of DMs say, oh, I want to be in that space. I sold my first NFT a year and a half after, because we were exchanging all for free, and that was one of the bases of the Additional community. And in 2020, basically, this is basically what when I started to sell my first NFT. So it's one of my first NFT. Basically, I sold on the Rarible, and this is basically my journey. And little by little, incrementing more and more digital, incrementing more and more crypto art, I started to have more visibility. So we mentioned it this morning, Celia, that there is a Shia. That was my first metaversal exhibition. It was basically the first Women of Crypto Art exhibition back in September 2020. And then I started to make some exhibition for future art. So my art was going to Sydney, and there was Graffiti Queen and so on and so forth, Cadaf Paris. And I started to realize, okay, I don't have the art background, But I start, I show my style and I find the audience in the crypto art space. And I felt that I found basically a family and a community that was in the same wavelength. And we were starting to make an impact together, working together as a crypto artist. And in March 2022, with the trash art movement, we even managed to find a scene in Paris to have the trash art, the first crypto art in an exhibition in a gallery at l'Avant-Galerie Vaucen with quite a lot of press feedback. So really, really happy about it. In one of my, so again, little by little, doing my art, doing my little journey. In July 2022, so this year, I've been sold in an auction in Paris, in the Fauve Paris. So again, it's a little bit like the feeling like, okay, people are appreciating my art, and it starts basically to reach outside the crypto art community. And in September, there has been a release as well with 50 chosen crypto artists to show, the spread of skills and talent. And because I was one of the artists as well doing, working on watercolor, so basically I've been chosen to be part of the Crypto Art Begins. And it's one of the books that will be sold in museum in Italy and as well in New York. So crypto art, little by little, is entering the traditional art space. And here is my super rare artwork as well. So again, you can see it starts with watercolor. And here it is. Working a lot digitally on it, tweaking it, and I feel almost like a crypto artist because I feel like coming back, from so far that little by little, I say, okay, I'm not an imposter. I am actually a real artist, and other people can see little by little my name everywhere. So, going further, basically, in the digitalization, I've associated with Tagachi. He's a brilliant coder and developer, and together we have launched Mignonverse. And what is Mignonverse, basically? It's still my watercolor, but this time generated. So we are generating watercolor. How crazy is that? Plus, we are teaching artificial intelligence to be able to recreate my watercolor and as well to recreate the storytelling around the watercolor. So, okay, it sounds really crazy, if you were telling, the little girl I was, who was loving messing with a watercolor, and I show it to you here, that one day she will be, in crypto art, and she will be working with the biggest in that space, and basically creating, going further and further in the digitalization. How crazy is that? So today, because we are doing a soft launch for the Mignonverse, if you scan this code, you can claim a free NFT of the Mignonverse, and that would be the very first one at this scale. So I really invite you to scan and to follow the Mignonverse. And we are going every week we are going basically every week in the metaverse, and we are telling stories about the Mignonverse. So follow us. Go and see a fabulous story about friends discovering a mystery from the Victorian time, a telescope, and we are building a rocket little by little. I delivered yesterday 2 rockets, ceramic rocket made in collaboration with a ceramic artist, and we are going to blast off very soon, so I invite you to come. So here I am. This is my story, Lapin Mignon since 2019. Thank you so much.